Hello, my name's Akisha and I'm the Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Development Lead. This episode of the Creative Community Podcast is part of the Your Voice, Your Story series for Black History Month, where we're interviewing Black staff members and people we support to learn more about their culture, heritage, traditions and lives. In this episode, I speak with Tunde, a support worker and EDI champion based in Warwickshire. He discusses his roots as a Nigerian Yoruba man and how his experiences of living amongst different tribes and in different countries have made him passionate about inclusivity for all. We hope you enjoy.
Hi Nuruddin, thank you so much for agreeing to do this podcast series with me. Can you tell me a little bit about you, your background and your heritage?
I am an African to start with, and in Nigerian. Well, in Nigeria, we have three basic tribes, which is the Yoruba, the Hausa, and the Igbo. So I am a Yoruba man. That's where the middle name comes from, the Tunde. It's originally Babatunde, like grandfather comes back. So,
Oh, is that what it means?
yeah.
Okay.
But when I was young, I did not understand what that means. I was cross with the fact that they were calling me a grandfather's name. I was like, no, I'm still a baby. So I told my dad to remove the Baba and leave the Tunde. So that is how I left the Tunde alone, and I made it my middle name anyway. So I'm Yoruba by tribe. I speak my language. I have a dialect as well, which is like the language of the town I am from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm from a royal family, and that's where the name Adibite comes from. It's like crown on your head. So, basically, that's my origin and remains my origin. So,
Okay, thank you. So Nuruddin Tunde Adigbite, is that right?
yeah.
Nice. Thank you so much. Okay. You mentioned you speak 4 languages, or you speak a couple of languages. Can you tell me a bit more about the language you speak?
Okay, yeah, I speak my dialect. It's called Ikare, and I speak Yoruba, which
Mm-hmm.
is like the general language that encompasses my dialect.
Okay.
Then I speak Hausa, which
Mm-hmm.
is another dimension or tribe in Nigeria.
Yeah.
That is the northern part of Nigeria. Then I speak English.
Wow.
So I'm looking forward to speaking French soon.
Oh, nice. Are you learning to speak French?
I hope I will be able to.
Amazing. Nice.
Yeah.
So you reached out to this podcast because you're an EDI champion. I know you're one of our amazing EDI champions. What made you want to become an EDI champion?
Okay. From the start, I've always been a united kind of person. I like to unite people. I like everyone to be okay, fine,
Mm-hmm.
which is what Yoruba represents in Nigeria. I like harmony. I
Mm-hmm.
like people working together. I like everyone having equal love for each other. Because generally, I believe you have to treat people how you want to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes me have a general trust in people. I don't take long to trust people, and I don't expect people not to trust me.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I always do what I say. So, and because of that, I I find EDI as a medium by which I can, unite everyone in my little way. I mean, to make a world a better place starts from you and me.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has to play a role one way or the other, right? So I'll go back to my country and explain some few things and then come back to what influenced my decision to be an EDI champion here.
Okay.
back in my country, there is this um, tribal discrimination, which happens amongst, people of different tribes. I mentioned three different tribes, which is the Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa. When you are a Yoruba man and you travel to the Hausa land, they treat you like a stranger. And there's a lot of conflict due to this, a lot of fights, a lot of war, riots, people, blood have been shed, people are killed. And that's right from when I was 12 years old. I remember clearly I was in secondary school. I was always having this belief that why can't there be peace? Why can't everybody be united? Why is there conflict due to tribe, due to religion all the time? And I try as much as possible to speak to people as much as I can. When I was in the university, I wrote an article in Lagos just to explain to people that I've lived in the North before. What they think about the Northern people is not what it is. Because I've lived there and I know these are my people, these are the people over there. A lot of people don't understand the differences, and that's what brings the conflicts. Now, the Northern people don't understand us, and then when they get to know you, they now understand, oh, these people are not actually what we think they are. So thereby, they start to trust you. But the funny thing is, they only trust you. They don't trust all that is like you. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
So basically, I had to write the article while I was in university because I was made the chairman of a symposium. Just like you create a lot of articles, knowledge base to incorporate and synchronize science and religion. So I was made the chairman who was to organize the event. So that was where I wrote the article. And that article, a lot of people read it and they came to ask me questions. Do you really mean this? Is this how it is? I said, yes, because I grew up in the North, but I am from here. So I can speak for both sides, right? So, and coincidentally, work took me back to North again. When I finished university, I went back to North. That's where I became an adult. That's where I got married, had my kids. So I was there for another about 10 years before I came to UK. So that gave me more understanding about how these places are. Coming to UK, and I understand that it's the same thing that plays out, but in a large form, in a more pronounced pattern. And people just don't see other people as they are. They just believe that, oh, because you are this color, you can't be like me. You're different from me. And that has been playing out in a lot of things we do. When I step out of my house, sometimes, some days will come with a lot of negativity because the first person you come across is already acting weird towards you. And that makes you feel so bad and you be like, oh, wow. If you are not strong, you'll be emotionally down. And whatever you're going for that day will be affected because you keep thinking, is this how everybody is seeing me? Is this how everybody is looking at me? Or is this what I'm going to be to everyone? So does that mean that I will never be me? So no one is going to ever see me as me, or because I am dark in complexion. But we all have the same skin. We all have the same hair, eyes, nose, mouth. We are human. So recently, when I started reading about things here, and I realized, oh, racism is a crime. But why do people still do this? So I started observing people, and I realized, oh, a lot of people are not actually racist. Maybe it's just what we think. I went to Alton Broth North recently. I went on a train. I hardly go on trains. So I went on the train and I realized that I took 2 or 3 trains. Wherever I sit, nobody sits there. Everybody will come saying, as long as they are British, they just sit close to another white person rather than sitting where you're sitting. Okay, I thought it was maybe a coincidence. Maybe they know who they're sitting with. I tried the last train. I sat in a place where there's a table and to accommodate 4 people. I was just on one of the seats. Until we got to the end of the destination, nobody sat there. And as much as we may have different color, we all have the same blood running through us. We all have the same kind of hearts. We all have feelings. So, of course, I will feel bad. And every other person in my position will feel the same way. But I tried not to feel that because I know I'm here already and I have to live in peace with everyone. Because the more negative feeling you have, the more you feel like transferring the same negativity back to whoever is doing it to you, which is not the way the world should go. An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. So it took me to have this general quote about equality. My definition of equality is treating everyone, no matter the gender, race, religion, or sexual orientation, how you want to be treated.
Okay, wow. I feel like you shared so much with us there. That's amazing. I feel like you started with noticing when you were in Nigeria, the tribes, the conflict between tribes and how different tribes would treat each other less than. And because you'd lived in several different places, you could observe what was going on from a unique kind of perspective. And you did try to do something about that even whilst you were there. And then when you came to the UK, you also noticed in a similar way that people were treating you differently as this black man in England. People were avoiding you on public transport and you were being treated, you were being seen more so for your colour than for who you are, and that hurt. Yeah. And then you shared with us, could you share that definition of equality again?
Okay, equality is treating everyone inconsiderate of the race, religion, gender, or sexual orientation the way you want to be treated. Well, I would say you cannot truly and sincerely deliver your duty of care if you cannot treat everyone equally. You obviously can't. I've seen it in a lot of places. I've seen people, the more you see people with disability as people with disability, the more you tilt away from equality. Because the orientation of the origin of equality comes from you seeing people with disability as part of the society. They deserve what you all deserve. They deserve equal chances to be who they want to be, equal chances to education, to health, and access to everywhere. That's what equality is. Part of the things that influences me to become an EDI champion. One way or the other, we could pass the message across to people the way it's meant to be and speak more sincerity into people's mind and hearts. And, it will transfer from people to people. And before you know it, everyone will see the world in a better way. And the world will be a better place for all of us.
That's the goal. That's the goal. And here, even aside from you being an EDI champion, to your role as support worker, equality is still so important to you by the sound of it.
Yes, it is.
And it's influenced you into being an EDI champion.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about your role as an EDI champion and some of the things that you've done at your service?
I took it upon me because of my belief of equality and unity. So I went to do some few readings about equality, diversity, and inclusion. How do you create an inclusive society? Putting up some information on the board. And then we had a meeting. I told Kizzy Green, who was the EDI leader from the head office. I told her this, I'm trying to create a board, EDI information board in our service. Oh, she was like, okay, that would be something that she would love to see. So I took a snapshot, I sent it to her. I was like, whoa, this is brilliant. She would like to feature the board in the newsletter. So a lot of people gave me their opinion about ADI, gave a quote, and some of the quote, I'll just tell them, okay, can we just rephrase it like this? And they will all be happy with it. Like, okay, Tunde, that's a perfect one. It's even better than what I said. Let's do it that way. So we kept doing that. I kept doing that with most of the staff that were interested. Some of the staff that were not interested, one of them came to me later and said, oh, I like your board. I think I want to be part of it now. And my manager, the service manager came, said she really liked the board and she would have loved to, create a medium by which I would go to all the other services in Warwick to speak to them about EDI, especially the staffs of color, so that they would be able to, break through the barriers of the challenges that they are facing when it comes to racism and all these things from staffs and service users. That would have been a good idea. As busy as I am, I wouldn't mind doing that because I want to speak to as many people as possible. If I could get into the heart of the staff of colors and they're able to continue the evangelism, that would be a very good thing, which it would not be just me speaking. It would be a lot of people speaking to a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's
And
it.
I've seen your board. I've seen the picture of the board, and the newsletter's just gone out. I think this week it's issue 5 of the newsletter, and the board is amazing. And it's everything that you've just said about everyone, regardless of age, gender, sexual orientation, race, everything. So how have you been able to overcome some of the challenges that you've faced as a person of color?
Yeah, holding on to the fact that you can change this. You can make people think differently. And that has worked in so many ways. Where I first worked, before I worked in creative support, I was a factory worker. And I mean, here in the UK, so that was the first job I got when I came because I needed to take care of bills. I just had to start from somewhere. In the factory, the moment you come as a new person and they realize you are Black, it's a norm for them to give you the hard work, the very, very tedious part. So it's after a while when you get used to, oh, this is how they do here, oh, this is how it is, then you need to fight back and tell them, no, you're not going to push me to this place all the time. If you cannot rotate us or push someone else to that place, I am not doing it. It took me a while before I realized that I was being used because they just believe that, oh, because I'm Black and I'm tall, oh, he's strong, they don't get tired. Put them in the hard work. That was what was happening. And every time I get home, I'm exhausted, I'm tired. I do too much. That's just the point. But when I realized what they were doing and I start to fight back, I realized that I started to enjoy the work because I wasn't doing only the hard one anymore. So, which is how it's meant to be. Why should one person be the one to suffer the consequences? Because you are Black, you are meant to do the hard work. So it's unfair. I don't live with things. I change things for better. And that is how you should think. I believe that you just need to let people know what they need to know. do your research, read about what you need to know, and talk to them about it. When they realize you know what you're doing, they will learn from you. And as long as it's positive, it will influence them positively, right? So I keep talking to as much people as I can, but of course, it's just one man. A lot of people need to do the same, yeah, to keep the EDI in quotes rolling, right?
Yeah, yeah. Wow. So you're definitely very resilient. I can hear the resilience that you have, but one of your ways of overcoming the challenges is by not becoming defeated and by doing your bit,
Yeah,
doing what you can to, whether it be educate people or whether it be support people to learn and to do better. And it reminds me of what you said right at the beginning about everybody has the capacity to love and to be treated well. And an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind, as you said. And that's the opposite of what you do to overcome your challenge.
yeah. But on the other hand, we have a lot of lovely people, very amazing people. I'm talking about when you step out some days, even before you say hi, someone will be like, "Hello, how are you?" And then you feel so happy, like, okay. Oh, so we see how people who sees you as part of the society, who could give you recognition as human being, which everyone deserves. So that boosts my spirit and keeps me going. So I use those positive energy to boost myself. And that is how I'm able to overcome those challenges.
Thank you. And on that note, is there any advice that you would give to other people who are, whether it's other people, other staff members, or other people listening who are going through similar challenges of discrimination, of racism, or any type of discrimination?
Yeah, my advice is just be yourself.
Mm,
Don't let anything hold you back. No obstacle can stop human from achieving anything.
mm,
So you just keep being good. And of course, people will pay you back with good. They
mm,
pay you back with evil, be good again.
mm,
And let's be as much champion as we can be anywhere we are,
mm,
either at work, on the road, or at school, or at home. Just represent equality, represent diversity, represent inclusion.
mm,
That your child fell down and nobody picked her up, and she came to tell you at home that I fell down, everybody ignored me,
mm,
doesn't mean another person's child who is a different color from you falls down and you ignore that child. Pick the child up. You know, if you see danger, take it away because they're all human. Every human needs to be treated equally, with respect, with love, with dignity. And that's what we should all be. Either you're a carer or not, just spread the love. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's been really, really, it's been beautiful to listen to. I feel really uplifted from that. So thank you for sharing everything with me today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for giving me the time to do that.
Is there anything else you'd like to share before we go?
Well, I would like to appreciate the ADI team for you to go this far to talk to people about all these things. It's really helpful because this kind of conversation help to keep you going,
Mm,
even when you feel down. And service managers are also brilliant when it comes to treating everyone equally.
mhm,
They are. My service manager, as an example, she's very good.
mm.
And I appreciate everyone for this work, for treating us the way we ought to be treated, for accepting us, even with our funny intonation of English. you know, we are still able to communicate without holding back,
Mhm.
which is good.
Mhm.
All I have to say is thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you and everything that you've shared today.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Your Voice, Your Story. This podcast was produced by the marketing team. Stay tuned for further episodes showcasing the experiences and cultures of Black staff members and people we support.